everybody, it's Tamika. I am here to share with you this super cute tag that I created. I need to make 2 of them, so I went ahead and finished one so that I'm able to video the next one, and hopefully this will answer some of the questions on my process and how I do things. I know there are a lot of newbie subbies. Hello newbies, even the super newbies, you guys are too funny, that are trying to learn things and techniques, and I stress, like I say a lot, that's how I learned, watching YouTube videos as much as I can, just to get to learn some of the techniques that people do. And I'm still learning, of course, but I want to be able to be a part of your journey and your process. So here we are. I made a tag for Audrey and Cheryl. Well, I made this one is for Cheryl's. The one that we're making right now is going to be for Audrey. But we're doing our annual meet and greet, and they decided that we should make we all decided that we should make a tag instead of a card, and alter a pill box, and then of course we have goodies that we like to exchange. So I wanted to do something a little different. I still wanted to keep my shabby style, but add a little bit more vintage-esque in it. So I used pearl, silver, and gold, like all the colors intertwined, and I think it turned out beautifully, and I'm really proud of what I did. And so this is what it looks like. I will have pictures too as well, because I'm not sure that this is turning out the best, but I just added some flowers, and some trim, and then some lace, some beads in here, some pearl strands, and some tulle. I added a shaker. Super cute. Love it. Shaker in the middle. Some butterflies, seam binding. I mean, it looks complicated, or it looks full, but it goes by really fast, guys. I'm telling you. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and this is the back. I just added a little bow, and who I made it for. So yeah, that's what we did. Let's get started. All right. So I am starting out with some medium weight chipboard. This one happens to be white on one side and craft on the other. It doesn't matter unless you're deciding to leave the back blank. Then of course you don't want you want to add some pattern paper if you don't do that. So my tag is going to be 3 3/4. No, I want it 3 1/2. All right, here we go. 3 1/2. And this is some thick cardstock, so my trimmer doesn't go all the way through. So I'm just gonna, I have to do it on the top and the bottom. So that's 3 1/2. We'll get rid of this. And then by 6. So one side, and then flip it over, and the other side. All right. So you should have this 3 1/2 by 6 card. And then I'm using some wooden or distressed paper. I really thought this was a really pretty pattern. It is by October Afternoon, and it's called Main Gate. This is the back of it. It's like a carnival theme, but I really bought it because of that side. So yeah, I've already cut, I already have the other half from the other tag, so I'm just gonna cut it down to 3 1/2, and then by 6. Okay. And then I'm also, well, I shouldn't put the trimmer away just yet. I'm also using these Michaels corrugated boards as my base. These are on sale at Michaels for $4.99 a box. They're clearancing them out. So if you have a Michaels near you, these are very handy for a lot of things. It's good to grab. I'm cutting this at 3 1/2 by 6 as well. And again, my trimmer won't go all the way through, so I have to flip it over and cut it twice. And that's the 6-inch side. Now this cuts off at, or folds over, the card folds over at 5 1/2. So you'll have this little flap right here. See, this is where the card would fold over, so you have that little flap. Don't worry about that. It's gonna be hidden, and you're not even gonna know. So we're gonna start out by putting double-sided tape all around the edges of the corrugated board, You can also use plain chipboard or a cardboard box. Take off the top layer and you'll get the same effect. Or you can, if you have a crimper, you can crimp some cardstock, some craft color cardstock. There are a few different options if you don't have this. I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure that this tape is down. And then I'm going to grab my scissors here to take the tape off. I can't do it otherwise. And I am just using generic double-sided tape. Like it's not a particular like score tape or red tape. Just plain old double-sided tape. So this is going to go on top of my chipboard that we just cut. I'm going to make sure it's on there nice and even. Right there. That looks great. And then just make sure that it is adhered very well. I hope I'm not, I'm going to try to zoom out a bit so you guys can see me. Zoom out a bit and then take off my sound. That won't happen. Alright, so see what I was saying about that top? It's just flat now. I mean, it doesn't make a difference either way. So what I'm going to do now is cover the back of this cardstock with the distressed paper with some ATG tape. Just some dry adhesive. You can use wet adhesive if that's what you choose to do. It doesn't matter either way. I just like instant gratification, so I use dry and hot glue. So I'm going to just line this up so that it covers the full back. Make sure that's on here. It's on there very well. Then I'm going to take some white Recollections ink and I'm just going to dab the sides of this tag. It can be messy as far as you don't have to make sure it's all covered in white because the paper that we're using is a distressed paper, so it would work perfectly actually. So that's that. And then on the front, I'm going to, let's use that. I'm going to add some gesso. You could use white paint or whatever you want to distress this board. I'm using some wipes. I just got these from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to add this paint across the top here so that that worn look from the other side will continue on to this side, because some of this will peek out. Like the sides will peek out. So I don't care about the middle. It's just the sides that I want to make sure are covered. Okay. There we go. Get some out of there. See? Now this is how it should look right now. Alright, I'm going to get some of this paint off my fingers. Okay. So now we're going to dry this a little bit. Just a quick zap. Okay, and so this is the top piece. Now with this, I'm going to spray it with my homemade shimmer, and I have a tutorial on how I make this. Let me get my little box out. I want it to shine, so I'm just going to spray that. And again, I'm going to zap it with the heat tool, just a little bit, just to get it down from the warp stage. don't know if you can see the shine. Super shiny. I love it. So this is going to go here, but first, okay, so you know this is perfect. Now if you're not going to, you can cut it bigger if you're afraid that you're going to cut this paper too small. Like, because we're going to peel it, but so I would make it like an inch bigger on all sides. That way you have room, but I know how I'm going to tear it. And this is how I do it. I just take these 2 fingers and hold it where I definitely don't want to go below, and then rip the page. So just like this. I know that I don't want to go below that spot, and I'm just holding the paper so that it definitely does not fall below that page. I'm going to zoom in and do the other side in a second. So I know that I do not want this paper to be super, super tiny when I get done. So I'm just blocking it and tearing off little tiny slivers, basically. All right, I'm going to zoom in a bit. So holding my finger here, see? Now if I measure it, this is exactly where I want it to be. See? Top and bottom. Now, hold my fingers really small here and just gently just tear the edge. What you're really tearing off is about 1/8 of an inch all the way down. See? I hope you guys can see here. And then we can do the other side. See? And then I know that I'm just going to tear off a tiny bit on this side. And I love this distressed look. If you don't feel comfortable doing it this way, you can take your a fingernail file, or if you purchase like the Prima tool, or even the back of your scissors, and kind of shabby this up a little bit. I just wanted the torn, shabby look. So like if you took the back of your scissors like this and took the paper before, of course, before tearing it, and just did this to it, you'd get the same sort of effect. I'm going to zoom back out. Okay, was I zoomed out a little bit more? Okay. So once you're done with that, just like this, see? Perfect. Like, oh, let's go down. See? That's exactly where I wanted it to be, because I still want to be able to see the shabby corrugated behind here. So, love it. Now, before you adhere that, I had a piece of vellum that I added to the top of this just to soften it a little bit. Now, my shine still came through on here, which was kind of lovely. So I decided to keep it. So now what I'm going to do is cut off some of this vellum just to match exactly the same size as that the shabby paper underneath. So we have that done, and then I took some of Kyla's little EK Success scissors, and then I cut the top off like this, just to make a cute little design. See? Just to add a little bit more detail. And then it's like it's laid on top of it to soften up the wood, but you can still see it peeking through, and you still can see the shimmer. If you want more shimmer on it, just add it to your vellum. See? Love it. And I just sprayed a little bit on there, so I'm gonna dry that real quick. Ooh, my heat tool is having a day. I need another one. Okay. Now what I did next was stitch around the edges using some craft colored thread. And so I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'll be right back. So I'm back, and I've stitched the edges on there. If you can tell the detail, I love it. Using the craft color thread. And then this is just going to go straight on top of here. To do that, I'm going to add double-sided tape instead of hot glue on this one, just to make sure it's secure, because there's You know, it's got a lot of stuff that it's going to be holding on to. So I want to make sure it's there pretty good. So I'm just adding that to the back here. And then one in the middle. Make sure it's on there good. And then my scissors, I take it off. Because that's the only way that I can. Okay. Now we just want to put it on top of our tag. Try to eyeball it to the right to the middle. Get it on that board very well. Love it. So pretty. Love it, love it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is punch a hole using my crocodile right at the top, so I know that I don't mess that up. See, where are we at? Right there. I just eyeball it. Okay, I'm going to use these We Are Memory Keepers wide eyelets, and I'm using this light brown color. I'm going to put that in here and seal it down. Oh, one got loose. Okay. Now that's in there. That's in there good. So I'm going to flip it over and add oh my gosh, where did I do with that? A hole reinforcer to the back, just to clean it up. Can't even tell. So cute. Love it. Okay, so the next step is to add a doily. I added this paper doily, just a random paper doily. And I'm going to move in a bit. I feel like I'm just too far. Okay. So the paper doily I cut down. So all I do is place it where I want to place it at, where I want it to be. Fold over the edges so that I know where to cut, instead of going back and forth with the scissors. So I know I want it to be right here, so I'm just going to cut that off. And then here. Cut this in half. I use the other half for the other tag. So that's going to go right there. Cute. Okay. Let me see. Right there. So I'm going to add some ATG tape to this. And careful not to tear. I mean, it's a very sensitive paper doily. So I just add it to the bottom, and then I'll go back later and apply some hot glue to it. Alright, and I got it kind of placed up toward the top. So I'm just going to add my glue just to the rim, to the edges up here. And I just barely graze it. That's all it needs. Doesn't need a whole lot. And you need to really push the glue gun. You just graze the top where you can't see it peek through. There we go. Just to add a little bit more texture on your tag. Okay, I'm going to put this on here because I stab myself often with that. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is add the shaker part. So I'm using some nesting dies. I think these are spellbinders, but any nesting dies will do. Or your Cameo, and do an internal offset, your machine. But I'm using these dies, And so all I did was run it through my vagabond to create a border. Just trying to find the top piece here. Here it is. So I ran it through the machine just like this, taped it down, ran it through like that, and then that gave me these two pieces at the same time. So now what I'm going to do with this is spray them with the shimmer, just a little bit. Give it some heat, if my heat gun's going to work with me today. Alright, I think while there's a sale at Michael's, I should go and get another one. That looks like it's on its last leg. Okay, so the next thing you want to add is your acetate. I'm just using some acetate here, and we want to put acetate on this top part. So I'm just going to do a rough measure around it. You can't see it, but this is about that big. Just want to make sure it's enough to cover whatever, you know, the top of your die, the top part. So get some glossy accents, or in this case I'm using Folk Art paper glass finish, and you just want to put it all around the border here. And just make sure all of everything is covered, and I try to stay towards the inside more so than the outside, so that when it lays on the acetate, it doesn't ooze out as much. So I got my acetate laid there. Place it down, don't move it. Okay, well, that's doing that. I'm gonna put the top back on here, or the needle. Now I can't even get this off. Hold on. Having some technical difficulties. Alright, so this is the acetate on here. So all I'm going to do is just lightly rub this around. Make sure it gets a good adhesion. Just a light touch. Okay, we're going to put that aside to dry, along with this other little piece here. Just put that away for now. So we're going to move on to the base, and I'm going to use this piece of lace here I got from Alicia. She's Alicia's Glitz and More here on YouTube. So it's just a piece of lace, and then I'm going to kind of cover the bottom half with this lace so it can have some cute texture down here. So I'm just going to add a dot of glue just to lay it down. And I'm just going to add just tiny dots of glue on pieces that I know the glue won't show. So mostly maybe the rim, or if you have like a piece of lace with flowers on it, you can hide it behind, you know, one of those. Just whatever you can hide this down on. And a couple more spots here. Okay, there. And this happens to be extending upward, so I'm just going to follow it. I think it's cute. It adds a little extra. Oh, let me get this top. That may be covered by the shaker, but just in case. Okay. See if there's any lifting pieces, and I'm going to leave all that overhang on there. I like it. I like it a lot. So that's what we have so far. Cute, right? I love it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to have is some tulle. I just cut this. I just did like a raggedy cut. So all I'm going to do, so we can clean it up later, is tie this tulle in a knot. Pull it tight. Okay. Then I'm going to measure it to see where I want it to be. Put the knot in the middle, and then I'm going to cut off the extra so it doesn't extend too much past the tag. That's all I'm doing. Okay. So this is what we have. Just this little piece. And that's going to go there. So, flip it over. I have the bigger piece on that side. I just want to even out the size. That side seemed to be a bit bigger, so. Alright. So that's going to go there. And our flowers are actually going to go on top. Right? Okay. So while we're still waiting for that acetate to dry, I'm moving on to the back. And I'm going to add some little lace here on the back side. I'm going to use my fabric scissors for these. Okay, put that away. So that's going to go right down here at the bottom. I'm going to cut half of this off because I really don't want it to be too high up on the back of the tag. Cut half of that down. Just make sure that's what I want. Yes, it is. So I'm going to flip it over backwards because remember we want the shiny side to appear underneath here. So like that. So I'm going to add a tiny strip of glue. Oh, darn it. Let's put a glue stick in here really quick because we're running low. Alright. So I'm going to add a tiny strip of glue at the bottom or along the base. Shiny side facing down. And place it on there. Now I have a little bit of extra, so I'm going to just add some glue right at the top border just to cover it, just to make sure that lays flat. Alright, flip it forward, and I'm going to cut off the overhang. I don't like the overhang at the bottom. So this is what we got. Where are we? Right? So cute! Okay, and then I'm going to add a piece of this bling, a strip of this bling trim that I cut just to finish off this lace that's in the back. Just don't want to leave it too bare. So I'm just going to put it right across the back here. And it's adhesive, you know, it's got glue on the back, so you don't even need to do any extra glue. See? There. And then I cut out, we're still waiting on that acetate. I just want to make sure that acetate is nice and done before I move on to messing with that shaker card. So there are plenty of other things that we can do while we're waiting. It should be done soon. So I cut out another little piece for the back for my label. And all I'm going to do is add some cardstock, chipboard. And I'm going to adhere it to the back just to pop this up a bit. So I'll put a little bit of ATG tape on here. Make sure there's nothing showing. And there's a little bit showing here. And I'm going to write, before I adhere this down, I wrote on the back here. I can't write while it's on there because it's not very even, but my handwriting is not the best. I'm just going to write created by Tamika. I meant to put 4, but that's okay. For Audrey. And it's for the meet and greet 2015. All right. Now I can take my hot glue and glue it on the back. Boom. Cute. And let's put this over a bit. One more thing we can do right before we make that shaker is make our seam binding. I'm using white seam binding. Just take a little bit off the roll. And I'm mixing up a couple of colors here. Get my little box out. Put the seam binding in. So all of these are homemade shimmers, but I'm using like a golden brown or golden color. It's more yellow than it is any other color, but it has a gold, what do you call that? It has gold shimmer powder at the bottom. And then I'm using this Color Bloom in antique gold, and I just literally, I pushed it once. I don't like the concentration of that. And then I'm using Prima's Color Bloom Cotton Candy Spray Mist, just to add a little bit of pink to it. Love that. And then one of my little yellows on here on top. So crunch that up into a nice little ball and hit it with the heat tool. Come on, heat tool. Make mama proud. Oh, Lord. You want to keep it crunched up so that it can have that shabby look. Almost done. That didn't take long. The base of my shimmers are alcohol, so it doesn't take long to dry. It's just that Prima chalk base that takes a long time. So, okay, let's ball that up really quick. All right, I'm going to put that on last. So we are now ready. Let me first wipe off my fingers because it's shimmer and paint on it, and I don't want to touch that acetate and leave a little smudge. So just take off at least the stuff off my fingers. All right. Okay, now we got the acetate. I'm going to use my fussy cutting scissors to cut around the tape, the acetate. Now if you don't want to do this, or you feel like this is, you don't have enough, or this is wasteful for you, measure out how much you're going to use. And if you have a funky design, like it's not a square, just make it a square underneath, right up underneath your design. So like if I was going to use it, I just make it kind of this an oval shape, and don't go to the edge. But yeah, that's too much work to keep measuring, come back, cut off a little, measure, come back, cut off a little. I mean, I'm wasting more that way than to make it a little bit bigger than your what you're cutting around. And it's not that bad at all. Okay, so we're done with that. See? Cute. All right, so I just want to see where I want to lay this. Okay. I think right there is fine. Dang it, and I just moved it. Okay. I'm going to take my double-sided tape. I use a lot of this stuff, like a lot of tape. And flip it over, flip the base over, and apply tape to that so that I can adhere it down to the tag. Okay, take this off. Okay, so this I'm going to put right, let me just make sure. I'll put it right there. All right, done. Can't turn back now. So that's going to go right there. Make sure you leave on whatever you're doing or however big your space is, you leave space enough so that this doesn't overhang on the tag, because you won't be able to get the shaker in there. So now we want to take some foam. I'm using foam adhesive from Michaels, and I'm going to cut a sliver off and apply it around this tag. Not tag, around this die cut with the acetate on it. So take off and remove the backing and put it on there. And I try to get as close to the acetate as possible, because what happens is the further back you go, the little pieces on the inside get stuck, you know, in there. So if they can't even reach going way back there, then you don't have to worry about the little inside pieces looking wonky when you try to shake it, because they're wedged in between something, or anyway. But yeah, that's what I do. But do what you want. Alright, I love using this stuff. Like, it's so flexible. And I'm just going along and inserting some pressure with my fingernail just to make sure it allows me to be flexible going forward, but still that it's adhered every turn. All right, take my scissors, cut off the extra, and then I'm just going to wedge this in there. It's foam, so it's able to be manipulated. And there. So you should have that around there. And that's going to go right on top of there. I only did one layer, so I don't want it super high. So I die cut the word hello out, and I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid adhesive on certain parts, just like the parts that I can get to. You don't need a whole lot, because if you can put them on a little bit, then you're good to go. I'm going to place this hello right in the middle. Tap that down. Okay. And now I'm going to get my sequences, as Kyla says, and put them on here. And I got these off of eBay a while ago. So yeah, just check eBay. So I'm going to add some some silver ones. Let's see, am I on here? Now I'm trying to stay in the middle here. Just a little bit of the silver sequence. That's enough. And then I'm going to add some of these tan colored hearts. on there. And I'm going to use some bit of the pink hearts. Every time I say that, I think of the cereal. Hearts, claws, clovers, and blue moons. I don't know what that is. I'm going to add some little bit of the silver stars and some white stars. Just some shaker stuff. Okay. And finally, I'm going to add this tiny little, these are actually nail art from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to add a little bit on here. Just get all my pieces to the middle. And I'm going to pour that right on top, right in the middle. Okay. So, let's see here. Whoa. Trying to move it up. Just keep it all in the middle. Try to be on a flat surface. Obviously I'm not because my seeds are moving, but this makes it even. Okay. So here comes the hardest part. It's not very hard, but it's the hardest. And that is putting hot glue on the edges of here. And before it dries, placing it on the outside of the shaker card. Okay. Now, if you don't want to do it this way, you can do it off the page. Like, so get you some, maybe cut this die cut twice, your bottom die cut, I don't know, put it on another sheet of paper and then cut around it. You can do that. And then place the whole thing on your tag. So I'm just adding hot glue around this border. And then I'm going to fit it on there. And then I'm going to adhere it down. Make sure it gets a nice little coating of love. So I'm going to just drop off the extra flakes that didn't make it inside the shaker. So cute. Ah, so cute. There we go. Love it. Love it. All right. Moving on. So now I'm using these butterflies. These are the Martha Stewart stickers. I'm going to use this cute one. Let me see. Does that work? Or is that too big? Nope, that's too big. And that one's a little larger. Okay, I guess we have to use this one. Yeah. We have to use this one. I'm just going to cut that out. I love these butterflies, and they already have like silver bling in them, and you get 10. What are you doing? Stay. All right. I'm just going to put this back in here so they don't get trampled by the rest of this scrap mess that's on the side of me. Okay. So this is going to go here, right? I'm going to put it on there right now. I'm going to put it right there. And the next thing that I did is I have this leftover from a swap that I hosted, a tag swap. I have this leftover, what is this? Silver paper. And I'm just going to use my Martha Stewart butterfly punch and punch me out the butterflies. Paper is pretty thick, so. And my butterfly flew over here. Let's get that up. So I'm going to just add this silver butterfly to this other butterfly, just to add some dimension. Just put a dot of glue at the base and stick it on there. Alright. Okay. So that's done. We got some glue right here, a glue string. Just rub that off lightly in a circle. So now we get to the decorating part. So we take our tulle that we already made and we put it right dead center. So add some hot glue to the base. Center it on your tag underneath and hold it. Not too long, glue is hot. Hold it on there. Done. Now I'm going to use some paper, these Wild Orchid Craft, forget what these call, pearls. And I'm just going to use, I think I had 6. I had 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 individual pearls folded over. I'm just taking these pearls, folding them over like this to create 8 little ones. And at the tip top, I'm going to add some glue to the knot that we made in the tulle and put it right on top. Okay, just press that down in there. And then, you know, just kind of arrange these sporadically how you want them. Okay, we're almost done. And I'm also using these white spirals from Wild Orchid Craft. You just need one. So I'm just using this one, but I'm going to spread it out and cut it in half. Like this. And then this bottom half, just flatten it a little bit so you can add glue. And then I'm going to put that up underneath the tulle. So glue on the bottom, pick up your tulle there, hold it down, and grab this one. I'm going to cut off a little bit of the stem so we can make sure it's even. And it's not, so I'm going to cut off a little bit more. Flatten that out, add some glue, move your tulle, and lay it down. Oh, so cute all over again. All right. So I have some flowers here. Now this is the bottom half to that flower over there, and I really like that pattern, but I think it's too big for here. That's why I took it off originally. So I have found a plain gray one, which I love. And then I'm going to use, to bring out some of this pink in this paper. Oh, I didn't say what paper this was. I just used a piece of the Prima Divine collection to cut out this paper because it's kind of a mood pink and yellow, like an iridescent kind of pink. It's really pretty. And I'm going to use this one of these mauve ones in here. This is pretty. And this is just a Recollections floral embellishment. These are cute. Really, really pretty. I'm trying to figure out how to use this one. Trying to make it even with the other tag. Oh, that's the same one. And I don't want any green in it. Oh, this one is cute. Well, no. Our first choice is always the best choice. That's what I'm going to do. These came from the Michaels bin. So all I'm going to do is take off the bottom 2 layers of paper because I only want the top. Ah! I ripped that. Piece came with it. Alright, I gotta fix it. I'm just gonna add some glue to the back and put it right back on there. Whew. Save. Okay, so this piece is going to go right here, and then we're gonna put this piece under, like under there, like that. Sorry, got glue on my fingers. I'll take some hot glue, swirl it on there, and lay that down just a bit and hold that. Not to get the tool down too low. Just hold it. Apply a little pressure. And then flip this one over. Oh my gosh, that color's so pretty. And apply that right next to it at an angle. There we go. And this is hanging over. We done smushed it down. I'm going to cut off a little bit of this tool. Now that we flattened it, it's a little longer than I'd like it to be. And a little bit over here. There we go. Yes, honey. Alright, so we're going to add some stickles, but I'm going to do that last so that I don't mess with it anymore. When I lay it down, I'm going to be done. Now we're going to grab our seam binding, like so, and push it through this hole in the back. And I got to use my knife here, my scissors. To give it a good tug. Open it up. Pull the back through and pull it like so, like that, so that it hangs. That you know you did it right if it hangs, okay? But we're not going to have it hang. So I'm going to turn it upside down. It's the best way for me to tie it. This, by the way, this color and this flower, look at this, it's exact match. Crazy. Love it. Alright, so I'm going to loosen this just a little bit in the back. I can apply this charm. It's harder to get on after the fact. It's all super tight and it's not willing to move. And I left the charm with this twist tie on it because it's silver and it kind of ties in with everything else. So let's put the charm on the back. So now flip it opposite. And I'm going to tie one bow. And then leftover strands. I'm going to smooth this bow out a little bit, make it a little bit smaller. Okay, leftover strands, I'm going to tie another bow. Okay, turn it around. And love it. I love it. Gosh, it's so cute. So I'm just going to make sure I got my pieces right here. Bring this tag a little bit to the front. The bows a little bit to the front. Just open this up a bit. I love this distressed look. So I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue at the tip so this bow can stay where I want it to stay. Hold that down while it dries. Straighten out my loops here. And then I'm going to cut off the extra. You can have hang time if you want, but yeah. So the last thing here is I'm going to add a little bit of this pearl trim. Just a dot, one little square of the silver. I'm going to add some hot glue to the middle, and that kind of finishes off the top, ties it in with everything else. Okay, so we're at, sorry, these glue strings off my acetate window. Let's see here. Alright, so we're at the last little part where we're going to add these stickles. Actually, this is not stickles, this is Studio G glitter glue, and all I do is finish it off by taking this glitter glue and adding, following the flower detail and adding that to the flowers. And I do that for both. This flower has a pearl in it, and it just ties it in with the silver that we're using. It just makes everything blend well together. Be sure to get the other pieces underneath, like if you tuck some flowers in there, so that when you turn it, it's a stickle everywhere you look. All right? Okay. So I'm going to cover this window and spray a little bit of the shimmer on these flowers. That's it. Take it off. I'm not going to zap it because the heat gun is having an issue. So we're done. I mean, let's zoom out. We're done. Isn't this super cute? Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. And then here's the other one. Ta-da. Super, super adorable. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you'll try this. Like the video. It makes me smile. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. That makes me grin even bigger. Thanks guys so much for watching. Bye.